Good morning, everyone. It's a CWIT session. What is a CWIT session? Well, I'm so glad you asked. I'm Chelsea Whittington, and a CWIT session is a pop-up interview in a pop-up location with a surprise guest. If you were just tuned into my live earlier, you'll note that we were talking all things FAFSA, financial aid. And I wanted to continue this conversation with none other than Gina Pearl of IU Northwest, Director of Financial Aid. If you need to know anything about deadlines and application processes, then this is the young lady to whom you need to speak. And I needed to speak to you. Good morning, Gina.
Good morning, Chelsea.
So you did a great job on the air, WGVE 88.7 FM, Gary's Voice of Education. And I thought we should extend this conversation. This is like the afterset regarding financial aid, because we typically think about April 15th and tax time and all of that, but there's educational deadlines that our young people need to be aware of. And so please talk to me about April 15th and what our young people need to be concerned about and ready to do.
Right. So April 15th is the state filing deadline.
Okay.
But what are you filing? It's the FAFSA. So this is the thing. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid.
That's what that stands for.
That's what it stands for.
Got it.
And so that's a federal form, but our state of Indiana uses that form to determine how much financial aid they'll give a student from the state.
Oh, wow.
So you file that form so that you're eligible for federal aid, which is the Pell Grant, which is student loans, which is work study, which is SCOG. That's all federal money, but the state of Indiana also uses that form to determine if you can receive any kind of state money, which is 21st Century Scholar, which is the Franco-Bannon Grant, which is CDO, which is Adult Student Grant. Okay.
Keep going.
So
what else?
That's the deadline. So Indiana has a deadline. Federal doesn't necessarily have the deadline, but Indiana has a deadline. You know, they have budgets and they want to see if they can meet their budget. So they put a deadline in to make sure they have enough money to cover any student who qualifies who wants to go to higher education.
So I was having a conversation the other day with a parent who was interested in sending their child to my alma mater. And while it's not IU, I am a professor at IU, so I have my IUN connection. But we were just talking about what it costs when I went there versus what it costs now, and it has more than quadrupled. So how important is it for us to get our financial aid game up, no matter what institution we go to, because the cost to go to school has skyrocketed, and I think we sleep a lot on the opportunities from financial aid standpoint as well as scholarship, because one, we're maybe not aware, or two, we wait too late to act.
Absolutely. And so the thing with financial aid from the state of Indiana, it has to go towards tuition. And so if you're a 21st Century Scholar and you are attending a school in Indiana, your tuition and fees are covered with 21st Century Scholar.
Well, you all better stay in Indiana.
Yes. Okay, and you get in-state tuition and so forth and so on. So that federal money can then cover room and board, housing, or whatever else your food costs, or anything like that. But that state money goes towards the tuition. All the other aid can go towards all your other living expenses.
That is perfect. And I'm just so glad that on the interview earlier on the radio, you were talking a lot about how pre-COVID you were getting out in the community to talk to parents and families about the importance and how to apply for financial aid. What does that look like right now? Because I know you kind of had to pivot, but still get the job done to get the messaging out.
Well, often we would have virtual financial aid nights.
Okay.
Where people would tune in via Zoom, and we would still present probably a PowerPoint and field questions. And so we have staff there who they can, if they didn't want to ask the questions publicly, they can inbox them, and the staff there would answer questions. Okay. But our phone lines are always open, you know, at the financial aid office. The office, we're there. We're back in person.
What's that number?
Back in person. Not 219.
Okay.
980. 6778.
That's the magic number. 6778.
Absolutely.
980-6778.
You will get Maria, and if Maria really helps our front desk and answer general questions. But if you have deeper questions, you can always go online, make a Zoom appointment with a counselor. You can always come into the office and say you want to see someone, because we are back full time. We've been back since August.
Now, Ms. Pirtle, is it true that you all offer assistance with financial aid even if they're not headed to IUN?
Absolutely.
I think that's a great community service.
It is. That's part of our profession. So I know financial aid, and I should be willing to help you regardless of where you decide to go to school. I just want you not to have to pay out of pocket if you don't have to.
Exactly.
And so we have had students who live in the community but plan to go to school somewhere else, and yes, we will help them submit their FAFSA. So we've invited them, come in, parent, student, and we will help them. I had a classmate of mine. Her son had no intentions on going to IU, but she knew me and she wanted my help with the FAFSA. She came up to IU and I got him, and we went on and completed it. That was last year. So yeah, we're available.
That's
all of us.
Great service. So a little bit about you, Gary native. What's your background?
Well, so yes, Gary native. As I mentioned, I came out of Roosevelt. I mention that every time. I mean, that's just a huge name.
Sure.
And I like the fact that I'm back
Yes.
in Gary.
I love that.
Providing my service. And seeing, the product of Gary Community School Corporation. Like, we are still making moves out here.
That's right.
And it's not just me, it's you.
Yes.
It's Candace.
Yes.
And
Jeff over there in the studio.
Absolutely.
So many of us.
Absolutely. And we're making an imprint on our community. And I love that.
And you're almost at the 20-year mark in financial aid.
Yes.
You don't look like it, clearly, but.
At higher ed. So the previous institution I was there for 16 years. I was there 15 years because I've been here 4.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm almost at the 20-year mark.
All right.
Yeah.
So again, if you're just tuning in, April 15th is the deadline for the state. What do they need to do? They're watching now and they're like, oh my God, I need help. What do they need to do?
They can simply go and keyword search FAFSA.gov.
Okay.
Do not go to FAFSA.com.
Okay.
You go to FAFSA.com, they're going to charge you. I
Right.
simply
Government,
said,
G-O-V.
You want government.
Okay.
It's a free application. You should not pay to complete it or pay anyone to complete it for you.
Okay.
It's something you should be able to do yourself. If you can't, then you come to our office, call our office, and we'll help you through the process.
It's perfect. Everybody, this is Gina Pearl, who has joined me for a quick CWIT session, the after set of your radio program. I just wanted to make sure that we help inform the community. I'm going to take this video, I'm going to push it out on YouTube, I'm going to put it on all my platforms because this is important.
Absolutely.
And the last thing I hate to hear as a PR professional is to hear somebody say, I didn't know.
Right.
And so we're going to work together, continue to work together to share more information about things taking place at IU Northwest. I understand that there's also a money event taking place on April 23rd.
April 23rd is when we come together. This is an admissions event, but financial aid will definitely be there because it's all about that 21st Century Scholarship. 21st Century Scholarship is money from the state of Indiana that pays tuition and fees at an Indiana college.
Free money.
Free money. What was the average amount a student received in 21st Century this year? $7,800 for the year. Because that's the average.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money for the year. And that doesn't include any other aid. That's just 21st Century Scholarship.
Right.
And so students sign up for that when they're in middle school. And so we have just one representative from the state that services this entire community.
Wow.
It's a lot of work for him. So we partner with him, the guy from the state, Fred Jackson, and we help him get students and parents involved so they can get signed up. We're also helping the schools because the middle schools counselors are the ones who are supposed to spearhead it in the schools. And so by us having one event where all the students can come and get signed up, that is absolutely awesome.
Perfect. I also love the fact that you all partner with organizations that target youth, like your urban leagues and NAACPs and just those different groups that if we don't catch them here, we'll catch them there. We can catch them in the churches. And so it's imperative that you share this information and contact this young lady. What's the phone number again?
219-980-6778.
I've already memorized it again. And I want to send a special shout out to our friend, Dr. Dorothy Frink, who has been very instrumental in leading the charge on getting the information out through her dynamic team.
That is Boss Lady.
Boss
Okay,
Lady.
we call Dr. Frank Boss Lady.
Okay.
Because Boss Lady had me doing stuff like this. Anybody who know me know that's not me.
It's
Now,
not
I
you.
would do it for Boss Lady.
Okay, well then I would have never known that, because your energy around this is so appealing and apparent, and I thank you for it. High five for us coming back, doing what we do in our community to make, as you said, an imprint on our community. Thanks so much for watching Seawood Sessions. Don't forget, share this video, and I'll see you next time. Wave at the people. Bye.